Right, everyone, say goodbye to your safety rating because we're at Bathurst in the LMP3 and there's walls and there's downhill cornering braking zones, which this car doesn't like. So yeah, let's crack on with it. Right, you crafty little sausage. We are probably at one of Australia's most famous circuits, and it is great fun. Apart from if you try and race it and try and push for lap time, you probably may make a mistake and have an almighty crash into a barrier. Then you add other competitors into the mix, including multi-class with the GT4s, and shenanigans will most likely happen. If you survive this race, you'll probably get decent IR because you won't get many off-tracks because the off-tracks are walls. So if you do survive, you probably get good SR and you probably get good IR because everyone else will probably have crashed. So if you can survive around here, it's always advantage. So good luck out there. Anywho, info tab for you. Fixed setup. We always follow this in the LMP3. You can really use it on the open setup, but I think it's probably going to suffer here just for a bit of rotation, really. Track temp, a toasty 139 Fahrenheit. That would some call that warm. I would call that scorching, and a moderate use of 44% is what I always use for these guys. Now the lap I'm actually going to show you. My fastest, I got into the low twos. Well, I got into the mid twos and trying to find out what the hell the track does. Then got into the mid to low twos and then nipped into the ones, and we did set my fastest was a 101.392. I think I can go quicker than that. But the lap I'm actually going to show you is lap 17, where I think it's a bit fairer because it's a 202.050, which is sort of one of my qualifying-ish laps. So that's where I think it's a little bit fairer. I think I will be into the ones, sort of mid to low ones, once the fuel runs off and I get a little bit more used to it. The tyres do heat up. Be careful of tyre temps here, because I did lose the rear end, the tyre temperature spiked, and I literally had no rear end at all. So make sure you're driving sort of that little sort of 95% where you're not pushing it too much, but you're just comfortable, because it really rewards you, this track. And as you can see, watch out for the walls, because they do get pretty damn tasty and close. Multi-class round here. Just try and finish the race, to be honest. Following the GT4s over the mountain is going to be difficult. You're going to have to pick and time your overtakes really, really well. Otherwise, if you get to certain corners like these ones coming up now, you're just going to have to sit behind them and deal with it. It's really, really unfortunate, but that's one of the things with multi-class is you can't really force your way through because there's not many overtaking places here. If you are in the same class, again, it's probably down into the last chicane and probably down up to turn 3, probably your main overtaking opportunities in this. But yeah, fingers crossed, you should be all right. Otherwise, Discord, OLAP, BLAP, territory replay file will all be hidden in there for you. So if you do want to see exactly how I do this lap, you'll have that information available to hand. And I'm also using Garage 61, which is an online telemetry tool where you can compare your lap against my lap. So it's very, very useful to see where you might be losing time to me or gaining time against me, and you don't need to worry about that part of the track. So it's all gravy. Otherwise, enough me waffling. Let's crack on with the guide. Right then, LMP3 around this place, say goodbye to your safety rating and all sorts, because we're hunting into turn 1 and we're looking for that post just after the 100-meter marker. Brake in a straight line. Now this corner, you want to get close to the curb but don't touch it, but there's a nice little camber bit just here. So when you get into that, full throttle out of it and you should be absolutely golden. Be careful about running wide. You can run the curb without bottoming out, but just be careful of the grass and spinning to the inside there. Also be careful on the left-hand side because there is pit exit as well, just in case people might need it. First overtaking opportunity will be a nice dive bomb into this turn 2, I think it is. Yes, it is turn 2. And our braking point is just at the end of that service road on the left-hand side. Brake again, slightly cambered on the apex. It's very, very awkward to overtake on the outside. Nigh on impossible. So try to get that apex and you should be absolutely golden. Don't run too far wide because you will bottom out on that curb. So be cautious. Bring the car over to the left-hand side, right-hand side even. And at that barrier change right there for some reason, start turning in, and as you pass that apex right there, easy on the brakes, nice and gentle, barely 30% through here, slow the car down gradually, get nice close to that wall. Again, that wall does jet out about there, and don't run all the way to the right hand side because you will find it very bumpy, and that's another reason why I missed this apex. That apex is very, very bumpy, and the rear end skits all over the place, and it's not good. Bring the car over to the left hand side, use that extra little bit of curb. You can take that a little bit closer, and then just weave it through here, minimal steering, get as close as you dare to the walls. Don't worry about getting the apex in this one because all we're doing is setting up the entrance to get far right and then bring it over to the left hand side. That'll bring us over to the right hand side now and go over the curb on this one. This is absolutely flat out even on the first lap. Little bit of curb. Again, that curb is dangerous on exit, so be cautious about that one. Now the tricky stuff begins. So just as the track gets a little bit wider, use that as a marker. Go under the bridge, brake, ease off and turn, brake, downshift and ease off again. You're trying to delicate, you know, get your braking in between the corners basically and get downshifts on each one. Nice and close to this one. When you get to the black barrier there, turn left and try and hit the wall, and you won't most of the time, but be careful. Don't get on full throttle before that one either because you'll understeer into that. Now we're coming to the tricky corner where there will be crashes, so I want you to brake down that white line if you can. Brake in a straight line, ease off, go around the corner nicely, and then brake downhill again, nice and gently. Second gear, I go all the way down into first, try and use as much engine brake as I can, really get the car to come back. There is a little bit of a dip here. As soon as you get to that full throttle into second and get out of the corner as best you can. You can hit that wall on the inside if you do turn in too early. You can hit the wall anywhere technically, but that one is doubly worse because it will spin you right on the racing line as well, so be cautious about that one. But it's carnage. It's going to be carnage. Racing this track is one thing, and then putting 20 other competitors on it is a complete another thing. Almost ending now, but we're braking much before the 100-meter board there. Use the advertisement markers as a braking point. Third gear for this one. Don't touch that curb. It will bounce you too far wide and you'll get a slowdown out there, which is really, really annoying on the right hand side. But get on full throttle as early as you can. Let the car drift naturally over to the left hand side. And then we go under the bridge for the final corner. Now this is going to be dive bomb central as well, particularly on the last lap if you are battling. So 100-meter board, just as we pass it sort of with the back end of our car, brake in a straight line. It's downhill again, so be cautious about locking up. Again, don't hit the mounting of the curb that is the apex, but you can straddle this the exit one quite nicely, but just be careful about the rear end stepping out and spinning on the last lap, which I have done in the past in other series, so bear that in mind. The line does come up very quickly. That's why the last corner is particularly high probability of dive bombs, because the line is so close to the last corner. But anyway, that's us in a 202.050. As mentioned, we did nip into the ones, which is quite nice. I'm hoping I can keep that rather consistent, getting into the ones quite often. Like I say, this track is amazing. It is brilliant fun to do laps around, but watch out for competitors. There are going to be people spinning around here in awful places, and there's not a lot of place. There's no runoff on the mountain at all, so bear in mind around there. If you do start last, you're not gonna do a last to first challenge here. It's very, very unlikely. But if you do start last, just watch out for carnage on the first lap and pick up all the freebies. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. If this did help you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I love your YouTube stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one.